Chicago.
Let's talk more about that now with North Central College political science professor Stephen Caliendo. Thanks for being with us.
Great to see you both.
What was your reaction to the ruling that Bovino must now appear every day before the judge?
Yeah, Greg Bovino is not making any friends in Chicago, that's for sure, but that's not why he's sent here. The judge, I thought, I read through the transcript to see sort of what their rapport was like. She seemed even-handed, but she seemed frustrated that there might have been violations of what her previous orders had been. And as you said, T, she's wanting him, at least for the next week, because there's going to be a preliminary hearing on November 5th. But for the next week, he's got to come by every weeknight at 6 p.m. and tell her how the day went. It's really interesting, a dynamic. He didn't seem to resist it, and so we'll see how it goes starting tomorrow.
Professor Caliendo, how much leeway does this judge have to actually oversee Operation Midway Blitz? Could she issue even more temporary restraining orders?
She absolutely can if she believes that people's civil rights are being violated. The plaintiffs in the case that she heard today were asking her to extend the temporary restraining order to all use of pepper spray and those types of biological methods. She did not do that. She didn't say she wasn't going to do it, but she said she wasn't doing it right now. Remember that she's already ordered Greg Bovino to sit for a deposition that could be upwards of 5 hours in this hearing. So he's got a lot to answer to. She has more in her arsenal, but it seems like she's trying to give them a chance to do things the right way. She really emphasized body cameras today, and I think that's going to matter a lot too.
Yeah, she wants that on by Friday. Politically, how would you expect the White House to respond to the court ruling today?
What an interesting day, right? I mean, the story that we just had, where we wake up to the morning that there's going to be shakeup with respect to immigration and customs enforcement, and they're going to be replaced in some ways, in some places, by Customs and Border Enforcement agents. There is certainly a rift within DHS, within the White House, about how to go about this, and this all stems from the messaging through the campaign. They were able to get away. And very successfully saying that everybody who's here illegally has got to go, because that was really helpful to their base. And in other times they were able to say, we're not just rounding up grandmas, we're going to take the worst of the worst. They were able to get away with saying both of those things during the campaign, and those messages played well with different constituencies, but they can't both be true. They can't both work. And so they really need to decide, are they just going after the worst of the worst, or is anybody on their way to school, on their way to church, susceptible to being rounded up?
It was very clear that the judge wants to see Bovino Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Is this unprecedented for a top federal official to be kind of corralled and made to be held responsible in this way?
I will say, Tia, it is unusual. I don't know that it's unprecedented. I wouldn't feel comfortable giving you a definitive answer on whether it's happened before or how frequently it's happened before, but it is not common. But these are uncommon times. These are uncommon practices. We usually have congressional involvement in these types of decisions to move forward on particular exercises, not individualized exercises, but the broad scope of the exercises that we've been seeing, and Congress has been completely absent from it. And so I think the judicial branch feels a responsibility to step in and serve as a constitutional check on the executive branch.
And Professor Caliendo, I'm sure we'll be checking back in with you as those check-ins start with Bovino and the judge. Thanks for your insight and your perspective.
You got it. Have a good night.
You too.